And that was a guaranteed rate comeback for the Canucks, and what a comeback it was. Vancouver overcame a 3-goal deficit and won in regulation for the first time since way back in 2010. They only had one win after trailing after 2 periods all season, and now they sit just 4 points back of the second wildcard spot in the West.
High fives all around, guys. 5 games for Bruce Boudreau, 5 wins.
Gotta love it. We all love him here, obviously.
Obviously. I mean,
so
forget objective journalism. We are not objective when it comes to Bruce Boudreau, but it's got to be one of the more feel-good stories in the National Hockey League because, as both of you know as former players, when you are losing and losing and losing, and not only that, you're not even playing well, you're not scoring if you're a star player, it can probably get pretty depressing in the dressing room. And now, this has got to be like the biggest story in the NHL right now, or one of.
Absolutely, and I think the big thing here is that before you even get to X's and O's as a new coach, and Dano, you and I have both been on teams where you've had mid-season coach firings, it's about making the players believe. And I don't know what was said, what Bruce did, but they're believing now. You know, I mean, even when you look at that game last night, they're down 3-0.
They're going okay.
And
they're
like,
allowed at least one loss.
Here we go. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then
it's all starting to sink in here.
So now we saw the big step up, by Bo Horvat last night. We had Brock Besser's been awesome. Elias Pettersson's got on the board. Connor Garland. I mean, they're getting the right guys scoring, and I'll give you a lot of credit to Bruce. I don't know what was said, and you got to give a lot of credit to the players too. But you have to make them believe before you get those results, and I think he's done that.
He's made them more relaxed, obviously. And look, anytime a coach comes in, you want to impress them. You want to do whatever it takes. You've got to change something. The Vancouver Canucks have a lot of good players. We know that. They weren't nearly as bad as they were showing, but it was from goaltending out. The goaltenders couldn't stop a puck. They were like the Keystone Cops in their own zone. Their top players weren't producing offensively. All of a sudden, Bruce comes in and says, take a deep breath, boys. Relax. I've got all the confidence in the world in you. And he's lit a fire under them. And we knew Vancouver was a much better club. I certainly did, because I kept believing that this team will get it right. They will figure it out. But obviously, the coaching change has made a huge difference. And I'm real happy for Bruce.
And, you know, Thatcher Demko didn't play in the game last night. It was Jarro Halak, I believe. But Thatcher Demko, like, he's had a good season all year, even though the team
early on, but he was
even though the
under
team
fire.
In front of him wasn't great. But look at his numbers now that the team in front of him actually believes. Obviously the 4 wins, but a .962 save percentage is ridiculous. I don't care if it's only over a 4-game sample size. He's been so good, and as Bruce Boudreau has said in a couple of press conferences now, good goaltenders make good coaches. So giving Thatcher a lot of the Demko, a lot of the credit.
But they are better around him. Does that not make a big difference, Rep, where we know a goaltender now feels more confident and comfortable that I don't have to be spectacular, stop every shot. I know where they're coming from. They're shutting down lanes. They're getting in the way. They're playing with more desperation in front of them, where it was a disaster for the first 6 weeks of the season. But good for the Canucks, because they got a lot of good young players, and they're putting it together, and Bruce is leading the charge.
Well, when Bruce took over, this team was 9 points out of a playoff spot, and we all knew him. We heard Bruce say it in some of his media availabilities when he was first hired. You know, we're going to have to go on a run to get back in this thing. Well, they've gone on a bit of a run, 5 straight wins. They're only 4 points back now.
Wow,
last one. So they've made up 5 points over the course of the last, week and a bit?
And that's, when you look at the standings right here, I am not knocking some of these other teams, but hang on a second. Do you believe that I think there's a lot of believers out there in Anaheim. Do you believe in Anaheim?
Oh, I thought you were asking about the Canucks. I think the Canucks can fight for a playoff.
That's my point. Is like the Anaheim Ducks. Is they're going to hit it? Are they going to hit a spot where they get a little market
even
correction?
Even if they don't, though, we just talked about the Edmonton Oilers. Right? They're struggling right now.
How is this COVID stuff going to affect the Calgary Flames, who are going to be on the shelf here for a while? You know what I mean? Like there's
and we've seen
situation here.
That division has all of a sudden become very competitive, top to bottom, because things can change quickly with a 5-game winning streak, and it's going to be very interesting.
You know what else is going to be interesting? The Vancouver Canucks play the San Jose Sharks twice in the next week and a half.
A much improved team in the Sharks as well.
Those are big games, though. If Vancouver can get 4 points out of those games, no matter how they do it, it's going to make up huge ground between them and a team that they're trying to jump. So keep an eye on that. Right now, it's a 5-game winning streak for Bruce and the Canucks.
Yeah, and you guys know Bruce very well. When he comes in here, everyone has a smile on their face. It's like you're talking to your grandpa, or a good friend, and it just lightens the room up, right? And I think everyone was tense in Vancouver. Everyone was gripping their sticks. Everyone, I think, was unhappy just going to the rink all the time. And you get this new jolly good fella in the room, your new boss. And
Jolly's a good word.
And everything just goes away. All your problems go away. You enjoy coming to the rink again. You play a little extra harder. You get you're faster on your feet. Your shots are going in, and smiles are on everyone's faces, and that's what you want to see when you're playing hockey. And right now, Vancouver's got a little, I guess, their swagger back, if you will.
Yeah, someone asked me on the radio the other day, like, what's Bruce like when he's in a bad mood? I go,
I don't know.
Bad mood? I literally don't know how to answer that question. I've never seen it. But obviously, it's gone well for him. And I think it speaks to really how doom and gloom it was there, because I think the change alone really took a little bit of a weight off the team. The fact that it's Bruce Boudreau, I think, added to that. But based on what you've seen from the team, Eej, from my standpoint, I feel like you can feel that this team is already just a little bit more confident, having a little bit more fun. Can you feel that when you watch them?
Yeah, I feel that because I watch them and they're playing. They seem to be playing harder. I mean, they seem to be playing with more enthusiasm and more excitement. They got LA the first game. LA's second of a back-to-back after being at Edmonton. They took advantage of that opportunity. Demko was terrific. The next time they get the Boston Bruins, they were just getting Marchand back. They were dealing with some illness within their group. They made the long trip. I think maybe they weren't quite at their best either. But again, Demko plays well. And one thing is their penalty killing has been so bad this year. It's when a penalty killing number starts with a 6, that's usually really bad, right? I mean, that's not what you want. But he is allowing some of the star players now to kill penalties and getting more people involved. And sometimes that helps as well because now people aren't disconnected on the bench.
Yeah, when you get your minutes up as a top player and a few of their players weren't getting the ice time, I thought that they deserved. So when you're getting played instead of 11 minutes a night, there it is.
There you go, right there.
There's Elias Pettersson right there. 13 minutes, 13 minutes, 13 minutes. And then Boudreau comes in, 17, 17, 18. So it's exciting. You're involved. You're not sitting on the bench watching. You're in the game. Your heart's pumping, and you can't wait for that next shift because you know you're going to go right back out there. That's what you want your best players to be, and they're producing for Bruce too. And
I think it says a lot that some of those players actually approach Bruce about being on the penalty kill, not the other way around, which I think is like some of these guys were like, just I need a chance. I need to be out there. I need to get my confidence and feel like Scott, you could probably speak to this. I would think that you feel, even if you just go out and kill a penalty, even if you're a guy that scores goals or likes to put up points, just going out there and contributing to that feels like a micro victory in the game, right? Like you feel like you've accomplished something just by being a part of that group.
Yeah, 100%. The best players want to be out there all the time, and whether it's killing a penalty, blocking a shot, you want to be on the ice. And these top players nowadays, the 20-year-old kids that are getting these big contracts, like Pettersson, like Besser, those guys want to be out there and be involved no matter what situation it is because they want to be a game changer. So good on them for going up there. It takes a lot of guts to go to a new head coach and being like, hey, Bruce, I want to play some PK along with the power play, along with starting every period, out there for the last minute of every period. It says a lot, and that's what you want. And Bruce is saying, hey, you want it? Here you go. Show me why I should put you out there.
Yeah, I'll give you the opportunity, but if it doesn't work, don't ask me again. Exactly. I believe was the quote. But
it's been working. So.
Exactly. Scott, let's take a look at some tape. I know you wanted to break some stuff down, so what do you got?
Yeah, a few goals here under Bruce Boudreau, and it's their top guys that are getting it done. And
I like the tie.
Yeah. And here's Brock Besser right here. There's 4 Kings right around Besser. That's in the middle of the slot there. The lane opens up. And on his stick, off his stick, and he's able to put that thing far side. Not the hardest shot in the world, but I think it fooled Peterson in net there and able to get that one. Here's another one. Connor Garland going to the net. Behind that, stays hungry with that puck and a nice little wraparound. So these guys are playing a little bit hungrier too the last couple games as well. And Connor Garland loves being around that net. This one I actually absolutely love. Good forecheck. The defenseman gets rid of it a little bit quicker than he wants to. And look at Connor Garland. He moves that stick right in front of the goalie's mask, and it maybe made him blink his eye.
For sure.
And able to put that thing far side. And here's another one. Besser winding up for a big one-timer. He's got 2 options, putting it on the net or sliding it over to Pettersson. And he was ready to just hammer that one-timer.
He's got a great one-timer, too.
Yeah, no doubt. And then here's the old Sedin play, the shot pass, if you will, on a power play. Besser's got a stick on the ice waiting for it. still top shelf. So they're playing those top guys. They're playing a lot. They're playing harder. They're playing hungrier around the net, and that's what you want, and they're going to get rewarded for it.
And it feels like they've been told that they can be a little more aggressive. They can look for that offense. They can push for that offense, as opposed to maybe, trying to play a little more of a defensive style.
Yeah, well, that we know from being around Bruce and having conversations with him, that's what he wants. He wants the offensive guys to take some chances, get up in the play. They want to play quickly, and to play quickly, you've got to move the puck out of your zone quick and get going, and you got to play with some urgency, and I think that's what we're seeing. I just think it's so funny. Like Saturday night, they played the Penguins at home. It was just doom and gloom, as you mentioned earlier. They're throwing the jersey out on the ice as a sign of, hey, the fans have had
Only
it.
in Canada.
They're booing, fire everybody. And then on Monday, it's 48 hours later, Bruce is there. The team gets a shutout win. They're chanting his name throughout the third period. It was like you were in.
And when they exited the building.
Yeah.
Like you would think they won a playoff game.
Yeah.
They were so jacked.
But it was amazing because it was two incredibly different circumstances. You wouldn't even know it was the same team, the same city.
Yeah.
And so it just goes to show you a little bit of a change sometimes make a big difference. We'll see how they make out tonight.
I did notice in an interview, I think it was yesterday before the game, maybe the day before, someone was interviewing Bruce, because everyone's interviewing over the last few days, and they were talking just about the chants and all the stuff. He goes, I kind of just wish they'd stop singing me songs and just focus on the team. And I was like, that's such a coach. That's such a, I don't want to be the star of this thing. I just want to come here and help this team win hockey games. So I see you, Bruce. Yeah. I see you.
And some guys don't realize that either. There have been coaches I've seen in hockey and in other sports that sometimes lose sight of that. And the players pick up on it. As I've told you before many times, and you would know it from being a player, the players always know. They're watching every little thing. They pick up on when the coach is all of a sudden taking a lot of credit. This is early in the game, so it's okay. And Bruce is a beloved figure.
But smart.
But it is very smart.
Yeah,
believe me.
Wasn't lost on me.